Just then.
It's a fucking sign. I hope everyone enjoyed the little intro that I put into this video, even if I did sound like a little bit of a creep. I'm going to try and do that going forward a little more often, just to add like a little bit of flair to the videos, especially if I can come up with a good idea to do so. But we have the release of the next story chapter, which was by far one of my favorites. Look, I got to get the bias out now before I start reviewing Zack. It was by far one of my favorites because of just the role that Zack had in the story. It was incredible. I loved it. It was awesome. And I do want to throw out a quick apology really fast. Yeah, Ignis's kit is fucking weird. So if I'm missing certain info that should be mentioned, or I am just interpreting this man's info all the wrong fucking ways, please excuse me. I've been doing plenty of countless fucking, like, practices and whatnot, and I just, it's so hard to relay this man's information. But, yeah, so cut me some slack there, please. I would very much appreciate that if you could, and let's go ahead and give it a shot. So let's just jump into the man himself, Ignis. So Ignis acts as a unique support that covers a wide variety, that covers two specific roles. One more suited for defense and survivability, and one more suited towards attack and overflow. His second skill is what activates these different stances that he takes with his brave attack and HP attack. If you use his brave attack, he will go into, I'm just going to call it his pastry stance, which is more of his defense form, which will give the party a 20% attack aura, 100% debuff evasion, and an HP regen, as well as a small max brave boost. I believe it was 40%. I'm going to call it the bird, because it's like Papa Bird and Bowl or something. His bird stance, where he is more suited for the attack. The attack aura that he gives to the party skyrockets up to 60%, with a much higher max brave boost and a 20% overflow rate to your entire party. In these different stances, his pastry stance will give his brave attack a brave heal that does not a brave heal to the party that does not do any hits, as well as an HP attack that doesn't do any hits but raises everyone's HP based off of damage dealt. His bird stance will give him an attacking brave attack that does damage, but and follows up with another brave regen, but not as big as the other one, and an HP attack that follows up with a 2-hit single target HP attack versus his pastry stance. His EX is, think of it like Charlotta's. Second skill. His EX will take the values of everyone's brave and apply that as HP damage. And when it's used, you target a specific ally. When doing so, after the EX is done, the ally that you have targeted with this effect will then automatically go second. The ally that wasn't targeted will follow up, and then Ignis will immediately go right after both of those turns. So he's got some like turn radiation. He's got like some turn manipulation in there as well, which is really cool. As well as, it raises everyone's brave. His EX plus is standard fare for the most part. His EX plus at 0 to 3 gives him access to the plus variant of any of its HP attacks that is offered by his different stances, as well as the rest of his EX just doing minor potency increases. Overwhelm will get which is his EX ability. Overwhelm will then get Overflow that can be supplied through Brave raises and things like that. And then the rest is just kind of standard fare. He starts out the quest with his frame buffs, potency increases, and things like that. So, how is Ignis for the Chaos Era? I believe I did pretty well. If I did miss some things, like I said, please excuse me. I tried my best. But this man's kit is just stacked beyond belief, and there's just so much put into it. But I believe I did pretty well. So how is Ignis for the Chaos Era? What does he bring to the table, and how well does he bring these things to the table? So what I like the most about Ignis is his versatility. Ignis can actually cover a lot of roles. Well, he covers 2 roles, but can also fulfill the weaknesses that a specific team comp might not be able to cover themselves. He pretty much he's kind of, I want to say he's almost like the ultimate support, being able to cover all those things. But it's just like what he has in those roles is just enough to make it viable. You know what I mean? It's nothing like he's more of a jack of all trades, master of none, and it's one of those things where he's not a plug and play kind of character. You do need to make sure that you are utilizing him properly, and you're utilizing him to his best with a competent team to center around him. And as long as you do so, Ignis will shine for you like no tomorrow. His cons, though, however, are pretty hefty. He is very HP attack and Brave attack oriented, because those are the abilities that change, much like Renoa is, and he already has a slow charging EX. So you're not really going to see his EX come up all that often, and he offers little to no Brave shaving whatsoever besides his HP attack from his bird stance, his offensive stance. That's literally the only skill that he offers Brave shaving in, and that's a 2-hit single target HP attack. Not only that, when he's in his offensive form, his turn rate is high, really high. So he burns through his buffs relatively quickly, and you have to refresh them. So it's kind of you're losing out on his skills pretty quickly, trying to keep everything up and going, and it just kind of makes Ignis a very hard character to balance. If you can find the balance with Ignis, Ignis does extremely well. And if you do choose to pull for Ignis, he is finally one of our very first save options that we've had in a long time, where you can build him at 0 out of 3. Obviously, the rest will increase his performance, but 0 out of 3 is definitely where you can stop. With that being said, is Ignis important for the Chaos Era? Unfortunately, no. While what he does bring to the table is awesome, and he can cover weaknesses in specific team comps and different roles, being the way he is, he's not excelling like specific characters can in those regards. I would say the only thing he really excels in with 100% certainty is his defense stance, because that offers 100% debuff evasion. He gets power crept as a support character fairly soon, so you're not really going to be seeing him like stay in the support spotlight for too long. Is he a character that you can definitely utilize and have a blast with because he's a fun character? Absolutely. But I just don't see Ignis being a part of like main team comps for long, even if he is already now. That's just the kind of kit that kind of Ignis has. So he's definitely a character that's more for fun rather than he is like meta or anything, because he's definitely fun. Watching him slap out a fucking cooking table in the middle of the fight is pretty funny to look at. But yeah, definitely a fun character, definitely really good, and can fit well on a lot of teams, but he doesn't last all that long, and he falls off pretty quickly. Now let's talk about the man himself, Zack Fair. Alright, I'm going to leave all bias aside with this. So, what Zack got with this release is just an EX Plus. Now, what does this EX Plus give him? We're going to talk about everything considered, because you need to have him 3 out of 3. You cannot stop it any less. But he gets more overflow, 180% in total on Apocalypse. 30% overflow was applied to all of his abilities, so that makes Apocalypse at 210, essentially. He can now heal himself based off of 80% damage dealt, up to 20% of his max brave, so it's a burst heal. He does now gain brave based off of damage dealt after Apocalypse, which helps him out a ton. He gets access to an HP attack plus, where it's the standard fare, a single target HP attack with a brave raise, 120% up to 120% overflow, I believe, and can recover brave based off of HP damage dealt. And Apocalypse becomes a 4-hit AoE split damage magic HP attack, followed by a 6-hit magic AoE split damage HP attack. And he gets to start off the quest with his HP regen already active and his 100% max overflow, max brave increase at the start of the quest. So, listen to everything that I just said and try and tell me that the verdict is going to be anything less than important for the Chaos Era. Zack, the upgrades that Zack got made him more than Chaos viable. This man is an absolute monster. He already had good auras for an offensive unit. He tanks, and he tanks much better now with the stat increases. Having the brave raise in both of his HP attack plus and EX now is just phenomenal because it saves him from even more breaking if they do even break through that shield. Rush Assault now has an overflow, which is awesome because, you know, now you can just pop it almost pretty much whenever you want. And he gets all of his stuff right at the beginning of the quest, so you never have to worry about using both Chain Slash and Rush Assault right out the gate, and it can allow you to save abilities rather than expending them unnecessarily. Everything that Zack has and everything that Zack got pretty much just made him more self-sufficient and one of the best team players that you could fit onto your team. Of course, he's not without cons. There are cons. Being the fact that his EX only gives the shield for 4 turns. You know, this was a con back in his Cosmos era days too. Being that it's only 4 turns, there may come a time when the shield will run out before you can refresh it with Apocalypse. He does not cover the party with shield, and he does not stop HP damage from coming through. So if they do have a brave raise, he will still take that HP damage. And like I said, he doesn't cover the team, so he's only keeping himself self-sustained. But those are mostly just minor nitpicks because everything else can just be looked at as positives. Like, sure, he doesn't cover the team, but if he's covering himself and keeping himself from being broken, the rest of the team can go ham because he can stay in front of the boss because he's not getting broken as well. So there's a ton of things that are going for Zack, and all these things make him absolutely important for the Chaos Era. I definitely firmly believe that is absolutely important, and his stacked EX plus just makes it all the more reason why. Definitely 3 out of 3 of this man. You want to make sure you have him at max capabilities, especially since the dual executing EX is within the 3 out of 3. So make sure you do that. Oh, I did also forget to mention that he also gets Last Stand, meaning that if he's above 50% brave, above 50% HP, he will survive a 1-hit KO at 1 HP. What else can I say? The man is a machine, the man is a beast, he is incredible for the Chaos Era, and he lasts a long time. Zack is most definitely, depending on how Arania is, Zack is most definitely currently the most important character of this month. I can say that with the utmost certainty. Zack is the most important character of this month. Well, we can see how Arania goes when she drops, but he's most definitely the most highly recommended grab of everyone coming this month. Definitely scoop him up. Definitely 3 out of 3 him. Definitely get him ready to go. Much like I have, I can't wait to keep playing him. He's never going to leave my team. It's just going to be incredible. But that'll pretty much do it for this one, guys. So rough recap. Ignis is a safe 0 out of 3 with a no. But I will give him a pass because he's fun as hell. Like, he's a lot of fun. And he's definitely, if he is a favorite of yours, he's definitely very much worth it to still grab and a lot of fun. Especially since you could possibly also grab him chasing his banner mate, you know. Zack is definitely important, a must-have 3 out of 3. So that'll pretty much wrap it up for this video, guys. Like I said before, I do apologize if I did miss anything that should have been highlighted with Ignis's kit. The kit is just stacked, and relaying the information is just, it's a little difficult. But I feel like I've covered it pretty well. I feel like my verdict covers it pretty well. So that'll pretty much do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.